I was selling a camera lens. Nothing expensive enough to make me nervous, but not cheap either. It was one of those listings where you expect a few lowball messages, a couple people asking if it's still available, and maybe one serious buyer if you're lucky. The guy who messaged me seemed normal. His name on the profile was Chris. No weird grammar, no pressure, no sob story. He asked a couple reasonable questions about scratches and whether the autofocus still worked, then offered close enough to my asking price that I said yes. We agreed to meet outside a grocery store at 7 p.m. Public place, cameras, people around, exactly what you're supposed to do. I got there a few minutes early and parked near the front, under one of the lights. I messaged him that I was in a gray sedan by the cart return. He replied almost immediately, "Cool, pulling in now." A minute later, a white SUV rolled into the lot and parked 2 spaces away from me. A man got out holding his phone. He looked like his profile picture, more or less. Baseball cap, hoodie, maybe mid-30s. He gave me a quick wave, and I got out with the lens case. At first, everything felt normal. He checked the glass, twisted the focus ring, looked at the mount. He seemed like he knew what he was looking at. Then he asked if he could test it on his camera. I said sure. He nodded toward the SUV. "It's in the back. I'll grab it." I should have stayed where I was. Instead, I followed him the few steps to his car. He opened the back hatch. There was no camera inside. Just a folded blanket, a plastic storage bin, and a smell I noticed immediately. Bleach. Strong enough that I paused. Before I could step back, he said, "Actually, can you hold this a second?" He reached into the back and pulled out a camera body. For 1 second, I relaxed. Then I noticed the battery door was missing. The camera was dead. He wasn't testing anything. I looked up just as another man stepped around the side of the SUV. I hadn't seen him in the passenger seat because the windows were tinted. He moved fast. He grabbed the strap of my shoulder bag and yanked it hard enough to spin me into the side of the car. My face hit the window, and I dropped the lens case. The first guy picked it up like that was the whole point. I tried to pull away, but the second man had both hands on my jacket now. "Keys," he said. I said no. He slammed me against the SUV again, this time harder. My mouth filled with blood. The grocery store entrance was maybe 60 feet away, but somehow it felt like it was across a field. People were going in and out, carts rattling, doors sliding open and closed. No one was looking. The first guy stepped closer and said, "Don't make this bigger than it has to be." He had my lens in one hand. My phone was still in my car. My keys were in my pocket. That was what they wanted next. The second man reached into my pocket, and I panicked. Not smart panic, not planned. I just twisted and drove my elbow backward as hard as I could. It caught him somewhere in the face. He let go for half a second, and I ran. I didn't run toward my car. I ran toward the store. The first guy chased me for maybe 10 steps before stopping. I think the lights and cameras made him reconsider. I got inside and shouted that I had been robbed. A cashier locked the automatic doors while another employee called police. From inside, I watched the white SUV reverse out of the space and leave calmly. Not speeding, no squealing tires, just leaving like nothing happened. The police arrived about 15 minutes later. I gave them the messages, the profile, the description, everything I could remember. The lens was gone, obviously. But that wasn't the part that scared me most. An officer walked me back outside to my car, and that was when we saw it. The rear passenger door was open slightly. Not wide, just cracked. I knew I hadn't opened it. The officer checked inside with his flashlight. My glove box had been opened. The center console, too. They hadn't just tried to rob me outside the SUV. While one guy was talking to me and the other was waiting to grab me, someone else had gone into my car. That meant there were at least 3 of them, and it meant the goal wasn't just the lens. They were trying to get my keys long enough to take the car, too. Maybe more than that. The profile disappeared before the police could trace much. The SUV plates came back stolen. The grocery store cameras caught the whole thing, but the angles weren't good enough to identify anyone clearly. A week later, the officer handling the report called me. He said there had been 2 other marketplace robberies in the area that month. Same setup. Decent item, public meeting, 1 buyer, tinted SUV nearby. 1 person distracted the seller, 1 person did the grabbing, and someone else searched the seller's car while everything was happening. I still sell stuff online sometimes, but I only meet inside police station exchange zones now. I don't care if the item costs $20, because the thing I learned that night is that public doesn't always mean safe. Sometimes it just means there are enough distractions for nobody to notice what's happening right in front of them. I was buying a used gaming console for my younger brother. His birthday was coming up, and I found one on Facebook Marketplace for way cheaper than usual. Not suspiciously cheap, but cheap enough that I messaged the seller immediately. Her name was listed as Erica. The profile looked normal. Family photos, a few posts from years back, mutual friends with people in my area. She said the console belonged to her son, but he had upgraded, so she was just trying to get rid of it. We agreed to meet outside a pharmacy around 6:30. Public place. Still daylight. Cameras everywhere. About an hour before the meetup, Erica messaged me. "My son has the console at his dad's place. Can you meet there instead? It's only 5 minutes away." I didn't like that. I told her I'd rather stick to the pharmacy. She replied with a voice note, not text. A woman's voice said, "I totally understand, but I'm stuck with my baby right now and can't leave. My son is home though. He can bring it out to you. You don't have to come inside." That made it feel more legitimate. I know that sounds stupid now, but at the time, the voice note lowered my guard. It wasn't some faceless account anymore. It sounded like a tired mom trying to coordinate something simple. So I agreed. The address was in a neighborhood I didn't know well, but it wasn't isolated. Just older houses, narrow streets, cars parked along both sides. I sent the address to my cousin and told him I was picking something up. Then I drove over. When I got there, the house looked quiet. No cars in the driveway, no lights on inside. I stayed in the car and messaged Erica. "Here." She replied, "He's coming out." I waited. A minute passed, then another. Finally, the front door opened. A teenage boy stepped out holding a cardboard box. He looked about 16, maybe 17. Hoodie, slides, no expression. He walked up to my passenger window, and I lowered it just enough to talk. "You got the console?" I asked. He nodded and lifted the box. "Can I check it?" He looked back at the house, then said, "You have to come inside. My mom said don't bring it out because of porch thieves." That didn't make sense. He was already outside with the box. I said, "Nah, I'm good. Just open it here." He didn't move, just held the box against his chest. Then he said, "She said inside." That was when I noticed the box was too light. He was holding it with one hand now. No strain, no weight. I put the car in drive. The second I did, someone opened my rear driver's side door. I hadn't heard anyone approach. A man leaned into the car and grabbed the back of my shirt. I hit the gas before he got a proper grip. The car lurched forward and he lost hold, but not before slamming my head sideways into the window frame. I heard the boy shout something, and when I looked in the mirror, 2 more people were running from the side of the house. One of them had a brick. I sped down the street with my door still partly open, swerving between parked cars, half blind from the pain in my head. Then something hit the back windshield. Hard. The glass cracked across the whole pane, but didn't fully break. I didn't stop. I turned onto the next street and kept driving until I reached a busy gas station. Only then did I pull over and realize my shoulder was bleeding. Not badly, but enough to soak through my shirt. The man who grabbed me had torn the collar and scratched me with something. Maybe a ring. Maybe a blade. I don't know. I called the police from there. While I was waiting, I checked the marketplace chat. The listing was gone. Erica's profile was gone. The voice note was still in the conversation preview for a few minutes. Then even that disappeared when the account became unavailable. Police went to the address. Nobody answered. The house was vacant. Not abandoned exactly, but empty. The owner lived out of state, and someone had broken in through a side window. The teenager wasn't the owner's son. Erica wasn't real. A detective told me later that the setup had been used before. Cheap electronics, family-looking profile, woman's voice note, then a last-minute change from a public meetup to a house. The voice note was the trick. It made people feel like they were dealing with a normal parent, a real person, someone harmless. A week later, my cousin sent me a screenshot from Marketplace. Same console, same photos, different seller name, different city. The description said, "Selling for my son, pickup only." I reported it immediately. I don't know if anything came of it, but I still think about that box. How light it was. How calmly that kid stood there pretending to hold the thing I came to buy. Because he wasn't nervous. He wasn't improvising. He knew exactly how long he needed me to stay parked. And I almost gave him enough time. I was giving away a dining table. Not selling it. Giving it away. That was the part that made me feel safe. I had just moved into a smaller apartment, and the table from my old place didn't fit. It was heavy, scratched on one side, and honestly not worth the effort of trying to sell. So I posted it on Marketplace for free. The only condition was that whoever wanted it had to pick it up. A woman named Melissa messaged me within 20 minutes. She said she had just moved into her first apartment with her 2 kids and didn't have much furniture yet. Her profile had pictures of children, birthday posts, school photos, the usual kind of stuff. She seemed grateful, almost too grateful, but not in a way that felt strange. She asked if her brother could come with a truck after work. I said yes. That was my mistake. Because unlike selling a phone or a camera, you can't really meet someone in a public parking lot with a dining table. They had to come to my home. I lived on the 2nd floor of a small apartment building with an exterior staircase. Not a secured complex, no front desk. Just 4 units, a parking lot, and a stairwell facing the road. I moved the table close to the door so they wouldn't have to come far inside. At around 8:15, headlights pulled into the lot. A red pickup truck. 2 men got out. No woman. I stepped onto the landing and asked if they were here for the table. The older one smiled and said, "Yeah, Melissa sent us." He looked normal enough. Work boots, jeans, reflective vest, like he had just come from a job site. The younger one stayed near the truck, smoking. I asked where Melissa was. The older man said she was home with the kids. That made sense, so I unlocked my door and told him the table was right inside. He came up the stairs alone. I kept the door open and stood to the side while he looked at it. He grabbed one end, lifted it slightly, and said, "Yeah, this'll work." Then he looked past me into the apartment. Not at the table, past me, into my living room. He asked if I had chairs too. I said no. He asked if I was moving. I said I had already moved most of my stuff in. He asked if I lived alone. That was the first question that made the air change. I lied and said my boyfriend was on his way back. He smiled like he didn't believe me. Then he called down to the younger guy. "Come help me with this." The younger man came up the stairs. As soon as he reached the landing, he closed my apartment door behind him. Not slammed, just pushed it shut with his foot. I said, "Leave it open." Neither of them answered. The older man was still holding one side of the table. The younger one stood between me and the door. That was when I noticed he wasn't looking at the table either. He was looking at my purse on the kitchen counter. I said, "Actually, I changed my mind. You can come back tomorrow." The older one laughed. "Relax, we're already here." He turned the table sideways like they were about to carry it out, but instead he used it to block the hallway. The younger man stepped into the kitchen. I told him to get out. He said, "We just need a bag." He opened my purse. Something in me snapped. I grabbed the closest thing on the counter, which was a glass bottle of olive oil, and threw it at him. It hit the cabinet beside his head and shattered. He flinched, slipped on the oil, and went down hard enough that the whole apartment shook. The older man dropped the table and lunged toward me. I backed into the wall. He grabbed my wrist, and I screamed as loud as I could. Not words, just screaming, the kind that hurts your throat immediately. My downstairs neighbor, Mr. Allen, was an older man who complained about everything. Music, footsteps, laundry after 9 p.m. That night, being nosy probably saved me. I heard his door open below, then his voice. "Everything good up there?" The older man put his hand over my mouth. I bit him, hard. He cursed and let go long enough for me to scream, "Call the police!" The younger man was back on his feet now, holding my purse in one hand and wiping oil from his jeans with the other. They both ran. The older one grabbed the wrong end of the table as he moved, tripped over it, and smashed his knee into the door frame. Then they were gone down the stairs. I heard the pickup start, tires scrape the curb, and then nothing. Police came about 20 minutes later. They found my purse 2 streets away. My wallet was still inside, but my driver's license was gone. So were my spare keys. That scared me more than the cash. The officer told me to change my locks that night. Not the next day. That night. My landlord came over at almost midnight and replaced the deadbolt while I sat on the floor, shaking. The next morning I checked Melissa's profile. Gone. The messages were still there, but the account had been disabled. Police later told me the children in the photos weren't hers. The profile had been copied from a real woman in another state. They also said my listing had given them almost everything they needed. The photos showed my living room. One picture had my apartment door number visible in the reflection of a mirror. Another showed moving boxes, which made it obvious I was in transition and probably had cash, electronics, or documents lying around. And because the table was free, they knew I was more likely to accept the first person who offered to take it. 2 weeks later, someone tried my old key in the lock at 3:40 in the morning. I know because I was awake. I heard the key slide in, then the small click of it not turning, then silence. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. After a few seconds, footsteps went back down the stairs. The police never proved it was the same men, but I know. I still use Marketplace, but I don't give my address anymore. Not for furniture. Not for anything. Because the table wasn't what they wanted. The table was just the excuse they used to get me to open the door.